A lot has been said the past few days regarding Atlanta Falcons player James Pearce Jr. and WNBA player Rickea Jackson. As we all know, they were dating. They've now broken up. And I want to ask you guys, because I hear a lot of conversations, a lot of opinions regarding this situation, but who do you think is at fault? I've heard the parents, I've heard the coaches not holding these players accountable who are exceptionally talented. And then there's the perspective of, well, he's an adult, he should know better. But if he wasn't raised the right way, should he know better?
You're dealing with young athletes. That a lot of these dudes been pushed through high school, pushed through college, and they get to the pros. And it needs something to happen drastically for them to change, for the alarm to come off. My thing is,
they're not gonna learn by example. In other words,
that's fair. Me watching him, no, because you're dealing with guys that have egos, guys that don't think that his whole time, and this is crazy to say, he probably don't think he's leaving I'm doing something that wrong. I know, you know what I mean? It's weird. It's because guys be living on this freaking high of I'm this athlete, you know. And then when stuff hits the fans, oh, you know what? I'm tripping. I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know the kid, but I'm saying this. I know players that they keep doing something wrong. They might not have had a dad or a mom. I know a lot of crazy stories with players.
Sure.
And I'm looking at him like, yo, you shouldn't talk to her like that. You shouldn't do. And he looked at me like I'm crazy. You know why? Because he probably heard his dad or his uncle talk to her like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, that don't make it right. But I understand his trauma. Like, well, growing up, I see my dad do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why I don't ever want to, crucify the player. I want to show him the right example and the right sound. Like, yo, this is wrong. Yeah. You know what? Let's get together, but then show him that.
How you up for Defensive Rookie of the Year? You doing all this shit, and you got time to go stalk your ex-girlfriend.
I know why, and I'll give you a macro take that nobody's going to give you. I don't know if Bailey has it or not, but have you ever seen the mother on stage endorsing the son as a great character kid when he was accepting the award, or when she was on the awards ceremony? I'm talking about him. I think it was for draft or one of those ceremonies. The mama came out. Shout out to the mama for raising the kids, all the single mothers out there. But this is the point. This is the reason why I tell you guys that men need men growing up, homie. Single mothers have not a clue. The single mom out there have not a fucking clue how to turn a boy into a man. And
I am so proud of all that my son has accomplished, but I'm even prouder of the man that he has become. James has a heart of gold, deep love for family and friends, and a true resilience in the face of doubt. Junior man, you have so much success ahead of you. I love you, son.
Like you said, shout out to the mother. I'm sure she did everything she
Shout out, Smitty. Shout out to her, but she's delusional because she doesn't know how to raise a boy. And that's not her fault. It's the fault of thinking women belong raising boys.
So much to take away from those clips. I'm going to try to keep it as short as possible because this conversation, really, I have a lot to say. You know what I mean? I'm going to try to edit it for the sake of social media. Starting with James Pearce Jr.'s mom and, the comment he made about mom being delusional. How do we know, Mom didn't really give a briefing of how he grew up and why she's looking at him and talking about his character and being proud of who he has become. Maybe from her perspective, up until now, he had been doing all the right things. Maybe he had made some great strides that we're unaware of. We don't know because we're not in their household. We know the relationship. So I hate when people have these platforms and they get on here and you have these thousands, millions of followers and you speak so recklessly because you don't know what's going on or what his mother has tried to do. Suppose his mom did get him help. Suppose she did sign him up for anger management. Suppose he did take medication at one point. Suppose, although his dad's not around, I don't know if he is or he isn't, but let's say if his dad is not around, we'll go with that narrative. Suppose he had uncles around growing up to help him out, older brothers, cousins. I don't really know. Being a parent is hard. I'm a parent of a teenage young man, and it does not come with a rule book, okay? It does not. I was once a teenager myself, you know what I mean? Nowadays, the way society is and how it works and social media, so much has changed when it comes to raising kids. It is not even not even crazy. So much when I was younger, how it is now is very, very different. There is no rule book for, okay, when you have a son, when he gets this age, do this, do this, do that. You have a daughter at this age, do this, do that. Like, we don't know those things, right? And we so much focus on women can't raise men. I'm not saying a woman shouldn't want a man around. You absolutely should want the father around. You should want to be married, but not just be married for the sake of being married. Have a healthy marriage. Having a man around who is going to put the right instill the right things in him, the right kind of character, teach him how to be a hardworking man, how to treat people, how to treat women. Having a man around, if it's not healthy, then how does that help him? If you grow up in a household, where there's constant arguing, bickering, fighting, and things of that nature, what are you teaching? What are you teaching your kid? How are you teaching to treat women? Because they're looking at that. If you have a daughter and the dad's not around, you know what I mean? A lot of times women go out looking for, love in different places, that there's a lot of ways that could go. But I think it's so, just reckless to say, well, mom wasn't, mom, she did the best she could, but she can't raise a man. So that's the reason why he's out there crashing out his Lamborghini into Rickea Jackson's car. What are we saying here? No, where is the responsibility for for what we're putting on James Pearce Jr. and his behavior? How does it go, to mom? And again, especially we don't know what mom did or did not try to do. Also, to Shady's point, how many times in society do we see when you have money, or you have you're extremely talented, that comes with a sense of power, right? We got a president who gets away with all kinds of things because he's the president, because he has money. How many times do you see kids whose parents have money and they might get caught driving drunk, and because dad is a powerful lawyer or he has relationships with the cops, they're like, hey, so and so, I have your son here, and they're like, okay, no, I won't say anything this time. It's off the record. They might give him some money or something, and it kind of gets swept under the rug until they drive drunk again and, God forbid, hurt someone or hurt themselves. Then it's a conversation of why wasn't this addressed? Same thing with athletes. How many times do we see teachers passing athletes along because they're so talented, or we have coaches who are ignoring how angry someone is because they're so talented? That's why I want to give a shout out to Dion right here. One thing about Dion is that you can tell that he cares about the players being good men first. Football second, good man first. That's what matters most. But not every coach is like that. More times than not, they see these young men, they see talent, they see dollar signs, and that's all they care about. If he did have a long history of anger issues at Tennessee, why was he just passed along and passed along and passed along? NFL does a lot of research when they take players on. They don't just take anybody on without knowing who they're dealing with. Why wasn't it mandated that? I don't know how extensive the anger issues ran or run, but if that is the case, why wasn't he, forced to take mandatory anger classes? You know what I mean? Seek help, seek counseling. How come those things weren't put in place? And then, still, draft him and, whatever, because he's talented, as opposed to just glossing over it. So for me, this conversation has so many layers, like I said, and we could point fingers in all kinds of directions. But this issue of men having anger issues or having problems and people not holding them accountable or letting them get away with it because of who their parents are, because of how talented they are, has gone on since the beginning of time. Honestly speaking, this won't be the last time. I don't know what's going to happen with James Pearce Jr. if he's going to be suspended. I think he should be suspended. They say he faces up to 5 years in prison. I don't know if they're going to give prison time. I don't know if he has a record prior. Like I said, there's so many layers here. I don't know exactly what his history is. But we're going to see. As it pertains to Rickea Jackson, I do pray for her mental health, her emotional health, and spiritual health, her physical health, because that's traumatizing. They were together for years, y'all. Like they're not some couple that just started dating and broke up. But no, they're only dating for like 5 months. So there's a history there. There was love there at one point. So I can only imagine how she feels. And then dealing with this on this spotlight with everybody talking about it and probably leaving all kind of comments and DMs on her page. It's a lot. You know what I mean? It really, really is a lot. And they are still people who are exceptionally talented, but they're still people at the end of the day. So prayers for everybody around. And hopefully we can do something different so that the next James Pearce Jr. who does crash his car out doesn't actually crash and unalive someone.